Today is Chapter 2 of the Condemnation Journal. Just compensation is the topic today. What is it? I'm Bill Blake, a partner in the Baylor Evnen Law Firm in Lincoln, Nebraska. I have practiced extensively in the area of eminent domain for over 35 years, representing hundreds of property owners from the earliest planning stages through negotiations, trial to appraisal boards, jury trials, and appeals to the Nebraska Supreme Court. In addition to representing clients, I have devoted countless hours to writing and speaking about the power of eminent domain, not only to local and state regional audiences, but also at national seminars. My goal has been to improve the legal system by informing landowners about their rights when faced with the awesome power of eminent domain. This is what I do. It is my life's work. My partner Jared Krause and I will be covering various aspects of condemnation law and procedures in a series of short segments. This is the second segment of that Condemnation Journal. Condemnation is the process by which private property is taken for public use through the power of eminent domain. Eminent domain is the right of the government to assert dominion over your property for the public good. In the first session, we discussed the historical and legal basis in the United States for payment of just compensation to a property owner when their property is taken for public use. Most Americans have a strong sense of personal freedom, which includes the right to own property. When a government body or other agency wants to take our property, it doesn't feel right. This is particularly true when it is our home about to be taken or damaged for a public project, or when it is a farm or ranch that has been in the family for generations. We will cover a little more about this situation in the next chapter called Leveling the Playing Field. Today we want to discuss what it means to be justly compensated. Remember, the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution requires that private property cannot be taken for public use without just compensation. The entire body of condemnation law grows from this simple limitation of the government's power to take your property through eminent domain. Most state constitutions have similar statements to guarantee our right to own property. The Nebraska Constitution is typical in this regard. It provides that property of no person shall be taken or damaged for public use without just compensation therefor. It is also stated that every item of annoyance or inconvenience is to be considered, not item by item, but collectively, to the extent that they would affect the price that would be paid by a willing buyer to a willing seller. This seems simple enough, but as they say, the devil is in the details. Not every item that affects value can be considered, and it is exceedingly rare that a property owner who is forced to relocate is truly placed in a position financially that's as good as he would have occupied if his property had just been left alone. This compensation system provides nothing for the time and emotional stress the property owner faces. And in most jurisdictions, it fails to compensate the businessman for lost profits. These can be devastating to the homeowner forced to sell the home they love, or to the business owner who is forced to close down due to the side effects of a public project. There are numerous items for which most or all jurisdictions will not compensate. To name a couple of these, they include medians in streets, or rerouting of traffic, or loss of value caused to a property in the area of the project, loss that's caused by the project itself. Such things are sometimes said by our courts to not be items of value, but matters of the police power or matters of good management by the owner. Well, as to not being items of value, that part is just judicial fiction. What the courts are really telling us is that the public cannot afford to pay for everything that you might suffer, that might affect your property, and that for some things the public should not have to compensate you. That these are problems we all face as part of the cost and benefit of owning property in this society. All of this can be confusing and complex, but the property owner does not have to go it alone. You have a right to seek legal counsel of your own choice. It's a bit worrisome, I know. It's a bit worrisome to most of us when we think about paying any professional to help us, but it is usually more troublesome to avoid seeking professional help and finding out later that it was a mistake. When you, as a property owner, are faced with condemnation, seek experienced legal help. It can help you in two ways. First, it will give you the best chance to receive full or just compensation. And second, it can help you to negotiate terms and conditions that will better protect you and your property. We sincerely hope these journal sessions are helpful to the property owner. Please send us an email or let us know how we can do more. And thank you for listening.